personal development now about 4 hours every single day. Something is playing constantly in my ear, and my mindset changed because of that, and my life completely changed because of that. So yes, just understand, guys, that this is very important. I know a lot of people don't get it at the beginning, but just try, just start with these sessions every single day. It's only like about half an hour, but start slowly, 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 and eventually you will see changes. Eventually you will start seeing changes in everything. You will start attracting different things. So I think Ross is ready, and let me just bring this amazing person we connected on social media, guys. The power of social media. Yes. So just be active. And
Hello.
again, I was writing down, what kind of people I would like to attract in the business, and guess what, we connected with Ross. And he ended up joining us. So law of attraction works. And just put some fire emojis in the chat box, or 777 if you on the call from your laptop. 777 fire emojis. And I want to bring amazing my friend and business partner Ross, who has been in the business now, working with us for over 3 months. And yes, he is bringing a lot of value to all of us. So make some notes, guys. Make sure you have pen and paper, because it's very important. Information you hear, you forget within 48 hours. It's out of your system. So it's very, very important to take notes. Note takers and money makers, remember that. So Ross, are you ready? Can you
Thank
hear
you,
me?
Ruda. How are you? Good morning.
Hello, over to you, Ross.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. So let me put this information away and we'll get started on this session about paradigms. We have more people joining the call. Thanks for being patient, everyone. And what I'll do is I have like different microphones on. Okay, there you go. So I just made myself the host on another. So I have two phones. So I want to thank you guys for your time. My name is Ross Garcia. I've been studying with Bob Proctor for a while now. I started in 2016 as a consultant, and I've been helping people with their paradigms. So if people don't understand what a paradigm is a multi that are fixed. Okay. So these are things that you do all the time. And in order for you to change that, you have to change the way you think. And everybody lets their current results dictate their thinking because they're using their logic. So they're getting more of the same. So in order for you to change that, you have to look at an idea, something that you really want. And I always carry a pen and I always take notes. So if I open up my notebook here, you're going to see a bunch of notes that I write down. When you're writing it down, it's actually the first step towards the creation process. Okay. So we have people still joining right now. And like I said, when you write it down, it's the first step of the creation process. So you can write down, I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm making residual income in my life. I'm bringing people into my business. I feel great. Things are working out for me. When you write it down, it creates brain signals, like a different recognition to the fact that this is possible, because we have limiting beliefs. We think, okay, well, you know, I never done this. I've never had a business. I've never was able to, start a company. And we're constantly getting what we don't want. So I love talking about the fact that the mind is programmed negatively and environmentally. Since we were born, we were introduced to the world and we were creators. We had that creative faculty. We were able to draw a picture of how we wanted our life to be. But we were discouraged at an early age to put the crayons away. They told us, hey, you know what, put the crayons away. That's not going to work. Put your feet on the ground. You have to have A's and B's, you know. And me, I was like C's, D's. I remember my mom, she had to go to high school to talk to the teacher because she was going to fail me. I used to wake up late because at that time I had a job working for a postal company, UPS, for the people that are here in the US. I used to work for them and I used to carry boxes. So it was very difficult for me to wake up as a teenager to go to school, and I would always miss her class. So she called my mom. She's like, "Look, I need to talk to you. I'm going to fail your son." My mom went to the school to talk to this lady, and luckily I was able to pass her class. But there's situations that happen to us that literally change our life, and there's only two ways to change a paradigm. One is an emotional impact, like 9/11, the Twin Towers. A lot of people lost their life. And another one is constant space repetition of this information. So there's only two ways to change that habitual way of doing things in your life. And one way is a paradigm, is an emotional impact, like a loss of a loved one, or constant space repetition of this information. That's why I don't do this, but I should. And Bob Proctor does this. But there's a chapter on persistence in this book, Think and Grow Rich, right? And he reads the same chapter for like 90 days. So every day he's reading, you know, you could say you're reading Decision, chapter 8, Decision. So you're reading Decision every single day for 90 days. Imagine doing that. Why? Because there's only two ways to change the habitual program that you have. And the main way to do that is by auto-suggestion, repeating to yourself. That's why Bob Proctor has on YouTube the money affirmations. I'm so happy and grateful now that money comes to me in increasing quantities through multiple sources on a continuous basis. And the more you tell yourself that, the more you start bringing in money into your life. I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm building a business. I'm traveling the world. People are attracted to me. People are wanting to find out more information about what I do. And the more that you do that, the more people are like, hey, you know what? I want to be around this person. So that is the beautiful part about what we do, is when you're positive, when you really want it, no one can stop you. When you really want something, there's the only person that can stop you is you. And I went through thousands of failures, guys. Like if I told you I've been shot at, I almost died like 2, 3 times, probably more. And I survived. You know, I remember in high school, my parents were like, look, we got to send this kid away. He might not make it to 21. I was from the city of Chicago, the Windy City, 10 million people, 7 million people. And I made it. They sent me to Texas. I went to high school in Texas for 6 months because they thought I was going to get killed. And they were worried about me because I wanted to be cool. I wanted to be around my friends and I wanted to prove myself. I wanted to be the cool kid. So some of my friends died, and that is emotional. That reaches the subconscious mind. So like when you talk about psychology and being hypnotized, and what are you hypnotizing yourself? You're hypnotizing yourself to the fact that you could be a millionaire, or that you could be retired, where you could tell yourself, I'm happy, healthy, wealthy. That's what we work on with Bob Proctor at his office, HHW, happy, healthy, wealthy. And this is psychology 101. We actually have doctors and psychologists working with Bob Proctor. Why? Because they find out stuff that they didn't even know how it worked. Because when you're putting someone in a hypnotic state, you're actually putting them where the subconscious mind is. And it's where the fun is, in the subconscious. So, like to get this, you really have to think outside the box. You really have to act like, okay, does this stuff work, right? And I know that you guys listen to YouTube videos, Napoleon Hill, Bob Proctor, right? But everyone has their own way of mentoring people and explaining the information. I have my way, which is like a way of like Napoleon Hill and also Bob Proctor. But I'm also going to tell you, I'm from the city of Chicago. I'm also going to tell you that I almost died a few times. I'm also going to tell you that I'm happy and grateful to be alive. And, you know, we're all the same. We're all looking for the same thing. We're all looking for advancement, for growth, because spirit is for expansion and fuller expression, never for disintegration, never for hard times. So it's like, do you really want me to bring this? Do you really want me to shake you, break you, and make you? Do you really want to go there? Because when you really find out, you're like, I quit. So I'm not going to waste my time and be like, hey, this is what I went through. This is what I do. The people that I'm talking to are people that really, really want a change. Like if you come into my apartment, you're going to see microphones. You're going to see tripods and freaking Apple and another phone here and another phone there. Why? Because I take this information serious. I have what you call MSIs, multiple sources of income. Last week, I just sold a property. But what happened? What happened was I was always broke. I wanted a better life. And I went through a life-changing event where I almost killed myself. And I almost killed someone else in the process. He was in a coma. He had 4 kids. So luckily he survived because I hit his car. And luckily I survived to tell the story. And I'm happy and grateful that I was alive. And I decided to change. I decided to not pay attention to the losers, to the people that are at the club that are criticizing, the people that are saying, oh, it's not possible. I remember going out telling people, yeah, I started a company. It's called the Loan Modification Clinic. And people are like, oh, that's going to fail. Like, I give you 6 months and you're done. And guess what? I did it. I did it with the ability to have my quality and attract quantities. That's actually a chapter in my book. Qualities for quantities. Why? Because you have a quality that you might not even be aware of. And the whole point of these calls is to bring it to the surface because you want to bring more of you to the party. That's what Bob Proctor says. You want to bring more of you to the party. So what do you have that other people need? There's a law of compensation. And I'll tell you what the law of compensation is right now. Is the need for what you do. Is there a need for what you do? Your ability to do it. How good are you at doing what you do? And the difficulty there will be in replacing you. The need for what you do, your ability to do it, and the difficulty there will be in replacing you. So, you know, for me, my need is very big. There's a lot of people that need this. The question is, if you found out about it, how long are you going to stick around? Like Thomas Troward, he only had one student. And back in the 1850s, he had one student, Genevieve Behrend. She wrote a book called Your Invisible Power. He didn't take anybody. He didn't take just anyone. She had a hard time having him as a mentor. And there is a price that you have to pay. Everyone pays a price. Like Bob Proctor tells you to write out on a gold card. I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm making residual income in my business by January 1st, 2021, right? Well, guess what? You're not writing down what you're willing to give for what you want. I actually have that written down. I'm willing to give my time. So on the back of my gold card, I'm putting on there what I'm willing to give to get what I want. Because there's never, Napoleon Hill says there's never something for nothing. And when you start talking to me and it goes into like more than 15, 20 minutes, you're going to learn a lot of information because I've been studying this stuff for 10 years, every single day, guys, on YouTube, listening to the videos, trials and scenarios and outcomes. You're dealing with outcomes. And what are those outcomes? How do you see life? The perceptions. And I've tested this material. I've tested it. And when it comes down to it, energy just is. Science and theology, they disagree on a lot of things, but they come to an unanimous decision on one thing, that nothing's created, nothing's destroyed. So everything you want is already here. You're a spirit, you're for expansion and fuller expression, never for disintegration, never for hard times. The question that you should be asking yourself is, what do you want? Why do you want it? When do you want it? And you don't have to worry about how, because you have to have a desire. That's what Napoleon Hill's chapter is on desire. Earl Nightingale says that success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. What are you moving towards? Because your mind is moving, I'm moving, my cell phone is moving, everything is moving. We're in a state of inertia. Nothing rests, everything moves. That's why when you go to a funeral, you see the body, it turns into dust eventually. So we're thinking on frequencies, and no one ever knew that the frequencies were intelligent. No one ever knew that the frequency brought us the radio. And how was the radio discovered? Through Thomas Edison's trials and tribulations, through his failures. He created the incandescent light bulb, but he figured out through a mistake what a radio frequency was. We didn't even know what a frequency was. So now we have a radio. That's why when you drive a car, you could tune in on the radio station. Well, guess what? The life that you want is like that radio station. It's a frequency, it's a dimension, and you're able to go there with the way you think and your perception about that outcome. Is that outcome true? Yes, it is. Then what's holding you back? Right? And that's what I realized studying this stuff, testing it through failures, I was going broke at the loan modification clinic these last 3 years. Everything seemed like it was stacked up against me, but I had a bigger goal, bigger than the loan modification clinic, the company I started. I had a goal where I was going to create a time, money, freedom lifestyle. And I was going to mentor people all around the world. So when Ruta joined me, when we joined on Zoom, you think I was going to say no? You think I was going to turn an opportunity down? Sometimes the biggest opportunities are a game changer for you, and your family. You're talking about kids' wealth, generational wealth. How can you do that? By changing the way you think. That's why Wallace Waddle says in this book, The Science of Getting Rich, he says to think what you want to think, you need to think truth, regardless of appearances. You're too busy with what you see with your lower faculty that you're letting it logically control the outcomes and the way you think, and you're getting more of the same. So how can you change? The way to change is studying this information. That's why these calls are important. But you don't see people on the call. You don't see people thinking, well, what does this guy have that I don't, or that Bob doesn't? I have something very valuable. I have so much knowledge in this information. I've tested it. I put down on a gold card, I was going to buy 20 properties, paid off for my retirement. Then I got to 10, and then I started selling some off. How does that happen? It happens because that is the first part of the creation process when you write it down. Doesn't matter what your life is right now. Doesn't matter if you're broke, hungry, your bank account's at 200 pounds, $200. Doesn't matter what's happening right now. What matters is the faith. Faith and fear both require you to see something that is not here in the present. 90% of people are thinking about the bills that are due next month. Instead of thinking about abundance, they're thinking about lack and limitation and these outcomes. So really, we've been living in a state of confusion. We've been confused since we were born because the mind is programmed negatively. It's like Earl Nightingale says, the mind is like the dirt. You can plant nightshade, a deadly poison, and not even a 16th of an inch away, you can plant corn, a sweet food. It gives you what you plant. Are you planting lack, limitation? Good, it'll be delivered right on schedule. Tune into it, tune into poverty, you're gonna have it. Tune into abundance, tune into residual income, network. Your net worth is your network. Work on the business, focus, get 95 no's, get 5 yes, and keep multiplying that. And then guess what? You're gonna look back and your business is gonna flourish in a down economy. Because at the end of the day, it's like Bob Proctor says, we create our own economy. So you can't really have a conversation with your friends now because most of your friends are broke and in the same routine, the rat race, as they call it. So you have to unplug from that and learn something. You know, I'm 37, but guess what? Doesn't matter how old you are. I could be 55. I could be 25. I'm always going to be open-minded. Napoleon Hill says open-minded is essential. He says that there's a difference between wishing for a thing and being ready to receive it. No one is ready for a thing until they believe they can acquire it. The state of mind must be belief, not mere hope or wish. Do you believe? Do you believe that you can turn your annual income into your monthly income, or your annual income into your weekly income, or your annual income into your daily income? People don't believe. That's why I'm traveling. That's why I'm exploring new places, because my mind is for expansion. I want to see something that hasn't been done before. And I like what Genevieve Behrend says. She says that when you bring these unseen causes into harmony with your conception, you can make practical working realities of possibilities that at present seem but fantastic dream. So what does that mean? You can make practical working realities. So there's more than one reality, but we're too dumb down to think that this is the only reality. But when you tap into infinite, you create your own reality, because Emerson says that the only thing that can grow is the thing you give energy to. So what are you giving your energy to? And if you can focus with your higher faculty, which is called the will, you guys might not know this, but we do have God-given abilities, higher faculties. We have imagination, the will, reasoning, intuition, memory, and perception. And when you change the way you perceive the way things are, everything else will change. That's what William James, a psychologist from early 1900s, pretty much known as the father of psychology, the first professor at Harvard University to teach psychology. You may want to Google that. William James. And he says that when you see something and you change your perception about that situation, everything else will change. And that's what Bob Proctor did. And that's what I did. He says, believe in your belief, and your belief will literally create the fact. And when you're working on the inside, that's why Bob Proctor says, you can't paint the kitchen by painting the outside of the house. You have to start with the kitchen. You have to start with you. When you work on you, everything else will change. And then everyone around you is like, what are you doing different? Well, guess what? I'm listening to Napoleon Hill lectures from 9 to 9, from 9 to 1 in the morning, Monday through Friday. What are you doing? Oh, I'm at work. How are you able to do that? Do you even get paid to do that? Well, guess what? I pay myself. Through what? Through the space between me and you. What is the space between me and you? A frequency. That's how we're able to see each other, through the phone, through Zoom. I don't know who's out here. I think it's a neighbor doing some drywall work in his house. So excuse me for that. But I literally hear a screwdriver. It always seems like when I jump on these calls, there's always noise. But I can't stop this, because I have to be mobile. I can't be in one place. Like Bob Proctor, my mentor, he wakes up every day at 5 in the morning. He has a studio in the back. He lives a block away from a railroad. I've been to his house and I've seen the railroad. I've seen the train tracks a block away from his house. Beautiful house. You would think he's got like a big mansion, right? It's not as big as you think. It's maybe like a 5-bedroom house, big yard, a pool. He's got a studio in the back. I don't have a studio because I might be in a different place next week or next month. But I love the fact that I'm mobile. I love the fact that I'm able to broadcast all around the world with the mic. That's all you need, is a phone and a microphone. That's all you need, because technology is advancing. We're moving fast, but our way of thinking doesn't let us break through. We can't see it. It's like the air. You can't see the air, you can feel it. Well, the same thing with the phone, with the broadcasting. You're broadcasting a signal and you're omitting a signal. You're bringing in a signal. What are you broadcasting? What are you signaling in? Because that signal that you're bringing in could be the TV. Like if you look right here, you're going to see a TV. Well, guess what? You can't let the TV control the way you think. You can't let the situations that are happening in life control the way you think, because you're going to get more of the same. That's why I love doing what I do, because I always am open-minded and I always think abundance and what if scenarios. Well, what if I make more money in a down economy? What if I retire in 2 years? What if I mentor people? What if I write a book, which I'm actually getting ready to publish my first book. I'm working on already on the title for my second book, my third book. So 2021 is coming up. 2020, was it a waste of time for you? For me, it wasn't, because I was still learning this. I was still reading books, expanding my awareness. And, you know, William James, he was a psychologist, and he's basically telling you that you have a higher faculty, your perception. And when you change your perception, everything else will change. That's why I write a big number on my palm. I write out a couple zeros. Okay. Why? Because you want to internalize a couple million. You might have not have made a million, but guess what? You could always go there in your imagination, because if you can hold it in your imagination, you can have it in your hand. So imagination is the key. Imagination and faith and holding on to the picture. I talk about Napoleon Bonaparte. He took over France twice. He went into Moscow, took over Russia. This guy was intelligent. The generals were telling him, Napoleon, the circumstances are just right. Don't attack. And he's like, attack? Of course we're going to attack. I create the circumstances. You can't tell me not to attack. Attack. And he had a strong will. He would hold on to the image of him being the emperor. He would hold on to that will, to that concentration factor. What does that have to do with William James, the professor from Harvard? Well, William James says you can only hold on to a thought for less than 60 seconds, possibly 25, 35 seconds at the most. A thought of what? Of abundance, of a picture, maybe you being out of debt, having millions of dollars, having a business where you're mentoring people all around the world. He says you can only hold on to it for less than 35 seconds at the most. And he says that you have over 60,000 thoughts a day. And guess what? I tie that up to Thomas Troward in a book called The Hidden Power, where Thomas Troward was saying that the past, the present, and the future, it already happened. And he says, you can pick that possibility that you're thinking about. And if you tune into it, that's what you're going to get. That's what's called, what Ralph Waldo Emerson calls, that the only thing that can grow is the thing you give energy to. So the more you give your energy to the same thing, like I coined that phrase. It wasn't Bob Proctor that coined it. I coined it. The main thing is the same thing. I said that. The main thing. What is the main thing? Everyone's main thing is different. My main thing is different than your main thing. His main thing is different from her main thing. Everyone has a main thing, but the same thing is the main thing. And what is the same thing? What you're thinking about of the thing. Because that's where the auto suggestion comes in. I'm so happy and grateful now that money comes to me in increasing quantities through multiple sources on a continuous basis. I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm traveling the world and I'm getting residual income. People are attracted to my business. People love working with me. I'm grateful. I'm thankful. Everything's working out. Money's just coming. I have no debt. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty much like a bank. I'm lending money and I'm putting an interest rate attached to it because I want to make a little bit of something for myself. These are the things that you're thinking about and are becoming your reality. But it's like Earl Nightingale says that 90% of the time you're thinking about the debt. You're thinking about how am I going to pay the car? How am I going to pay the house? How am I going to survive? That's why these calls are so important for your advancement in your business, not in mine, in your business. I listen to myself. So this helps me too, because we're all getting this. We're all getting this. So that's why I say to you that you have to have a goal worth failing for. You have to keep getting up, get scarred up, go through some BS to actually take this serious. I was talking to a 22-year-old yesterday. I said, yeah, you could afford to waste your time. I'm 37. I got this when I was 27. You could afford to waste 5 more years, but would you really want to? He doesn't, because he wants to retire his mom at a young age. So you have to have a burning desire. That's the main principle. The first chapter in Think and Grow Rich, desire. He did the introduction, but pretty much the first chapter is desire, because that's what gives you the fire to be like, okay, I'm going to direct this energy, because the energy is all over the place and you're not giving it direction. How do you give it direction? With your imagination. How do you give it direction? Focusing with your will. with your concentration factor. Tune into it. Stay there. Paint beautiful pictures of abundance, because there's abundance all over us. That's why when I'm in a negative or in some type of down mood, I'll go to the park. I'll go to the ocean. I love being in the ocean. I was swimming 2 days ago. I'll go for a walk near the ocean. I used to go to Venice Beach, California. I used to go for a walk. Take off your shirt and maybe get some sun, or go out there and lay on the beach and get some sun, right? So there's different ways on how to do this, but it's like they say, like, if you're not hugging anyone, buy yourself a dog. If you have to buy a dog, a cat, a pet, a turtle, a fish, do something that makes you happy. Play a good song, get in a good mood, because vibration is everything. Frequency is everything. How do you feel? And if you're not in a good feeling, you're never going to have your desire. You're never going to go there. You're never going to get the thing. So the first thing is nothing. The first thing is energy. Energy just is. And you can take that energy and create beautiful pictures with your mind, because you have to remember, the mind is not the brain. The brain is in your skull. The brain is something physical. This is what Bob Proctor learned after he got rich. After he's reading this book for like 5 years, he started a cleaning company. He used to be a firefighter. And he's like, I was always broke, and I bumped into a guy named Raymond Douglas Stanford. He gave me this book, Think and Grow Rich. I started a company, a cleaning business, made millions of dollars, and then I wanted to learn more about this information. So he went out to find Earl Nightingale, which was mentored by Napoleon Hill in Chicago. And Earl Nightingale told him, Bob, he's like, you have a subconscious mind. And he drew out a picture of the stick person. I had drawn it out before. It's on our channel, Wealth Mindset Group on YouTube. And you can find more videos on Wealth Mindset Group on our YouTube channel. And he drew out a picture of the stick person to Bob. And Bob's like, oh my God, like, you're telling me that the subconscious mind is thinking when I'm not thinking? 97% of the time? Yes. So when you impress the idea, the desire to the subconscious mind, it has no ability to reject. It must accept. And it picks it up through enthusiasm, through feeling good. And then the situations start happening to you. I remember when I had the loan modification clinic, a guy from the radio came to me and he's like, hey, look, I want to put you on my radio station. And I was a little bit nervous because I never used to do radio. So I jumped on the radio station with this guy, and my clientele skyrocketed. I went from having 5 clients to 50 clients a month. And what happens? Well, what Wallace Waddle says is that the energy is intelligent, and you have intelligence radiating all over you. And that intelligence is communicating with other people to draw in your major purpose, your desire. So there's people participating in your goal right now, but you don't even know who these people are, because that energy is attracting the goals that you want. So once you name it and claim it, like, this is mine, and I'm gonna focus on this picture, then everything around you starts to shift for you getting that. And there's actually a law called the law of gender, where it gives you the thing that you want. And I'll explain to you what the law of gender is. The law of gender states that there's an incubation and ingestation period to every seed. We know what it is for a woman having a child, but we don't know what a spiritual seed is. A spiritual seed, in my case, took 3 years to create a company. In Bob Proctor's case, when he went to Chicago to learn from Earl Nightingale, it took him close to 50 years to create Proctor Gallagher Institute, a company that operates all around the world. So we don't know what a spiritual seed is, but guess what? We do know this. There is a season to sow and there is a season to reap, but we can't do both in the same season. We can't just plant some seeds and say, hey, guess what? I'm going to wake up early in the morning. I'm going to go get those crops and I'm going to make whatever amount of money you say you're going to make. That's what you're going to make. You can't just do that in 2 weeks, guys. There has to be a price, your time, the effort, the rejections that you got from people that were saying, you're never going to own a company that operates all around the world. But guess what? You can have people in your business all around the world. All you have to do is have a click of a button on Facebook and start adding new friends. All you have to do is learn from me these techniques that could literally change your whole life. Literally. That's why I talk to people that don't join the business and I follow up with them like 3-4 months later, and they're over here talking to me, man, you have a good life. How is Spain? I wish I can go there. I say, your wishes can come true if you study this information. You can be in Spain, you can be in California, but you don't believe. The state of mind must be belief, Namir, hope, or wish. I've cried. I've tested this. I've been alone in an apartment by myself, depressed because no one believed in me. I had to believe in myself. I had to believe in what Napoleon Hill was saying because I knew it worked. I created a company. I had close to 15 people working for me full time, including my older sister that told me, don't start the company. And I asked her, what do you really want? She said, Junior, that's my name. I'm like the middle child. I only have a little brother and an older sister. She's like, Junior, I just want to take care of my family. I said, how much do you want to make? She's like, I want to make $100,000 a year. I say, scratch that. You're going to make $100,000 a month. And guess what? 3 years later, she's making $100,000 a month. It took her time. It took her faith, endurance. She grabbed scissors, drew out pictures. She made a dream board. She wrote the goals down the same way I did in my notebook. And it manifested after 3 years, maybe 2.5, but it manifested. Now, from going to a condo, which she owned, to having 7 properties paid off, I think that's a beautiful thing. I think that's a great thing because energy just is. Science and theology, they disagree on a lot of things, but they come to an unanimous decision on one thing, that nothing's created, nothing's destroyed. So if nothing's created, nothing's destroyed, everything you want's already here. And that's why I wrote that down. When you talk to me and you're like, man, this guy is so knowledgeable. How does he know word per word? Because I've read it thousands of times. How bad do you want it? I've read this thousands of times. When you bring these unseen causes into harmony with your conception, you can make practical working realities of possibilities that at present seem but fantastic dream. Genevieve Reran, Google it. When you bring these unseen causes, word per word, Vincent Anucci is like, how do you know this stuff word per word? You never know what people know. The more you talk to them, it's like a can of worms. You find out so much information. That's why I love being on here. I love doing the Zoom calls. I love helping myself with this information because I almost died. I almost killed someone else in the process. And what did Napoleon Hill say? He says that the only problem we have is ignorance. That's what causes wars. If we had knowledge, there wouldn't be any war. How does he do his lectures when he starts his lectures? He says, oh, divine providence, I ask not for more riches, but more wisdom with which to use the riches I was born with and the power to control my own mind to whatever ends I desire. I made a decision to be the best of the best. No effing around, no messing around, the best of the best. I made a decision to practice, to learn, to study these people, and to show you what this information is all about. In the new age, in the 2020, in the digital age, in the information age, I made a decision because I had to, because I knew that I had something to add. I had a quality to study, to learn from Genevieve Behrend, from Thomas Troward, from Wallace Wattles, from William James, from Bob Proctor, from Napoleon Hill, from Earl Nightingale. I had the quality because I have a memory. That's a higher faculty. I can remember these things. I can remember Bob Proctor smiling, being happy that I've studied, looking at all the other students at Proctor Gallagher, him next to me. That's a great feeling, because I know that I did what I had to do to bring my A game. And that's why it's important for you guys to break free from what is normal, because the government is forcing you to break free. If you don't have an online business, you're done. You're toast. We see so many people losing their businesses right now. You have to create. You have a right part to you, the creative side, and you have a left part to you, the analytical side, the logical side. We're shifting. Humanity is shifting. We're going to the creative side, full force. That's why I talked to my son the other day. He's like, Dad, I'm working from home. I'm at school at home. I have my laptop. I'm in gym class, Dad. I can't talk. Oh, are you? Yeah. How? You're in your room at your house. No. I'm on Zoom. I'm doing push-ups in my room with the teacher is on Zoom. So everything will change. And if you want to change, you have to keep learning. And it's like the military. When I screwed up in 2010, I went to a military program and they showed you discipline of working out. I used to cry to sleep at night. It was so intense. I never was able to run for like an hour. But when I got out of there, I was like, man, I could run for an hour and a half. You have to pace yourself. You have to breathe. The oxygen has to hit your brain. And you get better at it. And you get better and you get better. And what happened was, when I was introduced to this information, I took it so serious, because the real discipline is, like Napoleon Hill says, is discipline to control your own mind. Because he says, if you have control of your mind, you can have anything you want. You can have it in abundance. So to end the call, what I could tell you is this: write down, if you guys have not done this, write down what you really want. Go into fantasy, build a picture. Don't pay any attention to how it's going to happen. Let go of the how. Stop using the logical side to you. Go into your imagination and paint with a pen. The first part of the creation process, write it down. What you really want, the type of business you want, the type of people you want in your organization. And then focus on that every day and keep writing it. It doesn't matter how your life is now or in 2 weeks. What matters is the picture, and live it out. Act as if the person you wish to become. There's a book, it's called The Art of Acting by Stella Adler. Bob Proctor recommends it. And he says, play the role in your movie. Be like Marlon Brando, the Godfather. Play the leading role. Don't be some guy on the sideline. Don't stand there and watch other people succeed while you're just there chewing your fingernails, looking, thinking and saying, oh, they did it because they were lucky. No, luck has nothing to do with this, guys. It's determination, it's effort, it's the no's, the breakthroughs, the failures. Like Thomas Edison, to bring us the light bulb, went through close to 10,000 failures. And then he figured out what the radio was. And I've seen the documentary on the History Channel of Thomas Edison. I've seen the documentary of Napoleon Hill, of Andrew Carnegie. So I know that we're in a breakthrough moment, because it's not about oil. It's about data now. It's about the information age. We're out of the industrial age. That's why my kid's at home doing push-ups on Zoom in his room in school. So really, really think, really sit down and think and write your life out. Create. Write it out. Create a picture in your mind. Use those higher faculties. Jump on these Zoom calls. Encourage your team members to jump on your Zoom calls. Multiply this. Multiplication. Get other people to jump on and say, hey, look, there's this guy named Ross. He studied with Bob Proctor. If I have to show you my certificate that I'm a certified consultant with Proctor Gallagher, I will. I'll post it on the WhatsApp groups. I'm a certified consultant, guys. This is what I do full time. I have multiple streams of income, but I'm no better than you. I was worse than you. I was in jail, in boot camp, crying my eyes out, getting smacked around by drill instructors that were in the Marines, because I almost died. I almost killed someone else in the process. My life was a mess. In 2009, my life was a mess. I was working for JP Morgan Chase and I was going through a depression because I lost my condo. I went through a breakup. I lost my son. I was going through court battles at 27 years old. I had my son at 26. And guess what? I made it. And after that situation of being in the military, you think I was going to blow my life? You think I wasn't going to take what Napoleon Hill was saying to me serious? Even though he was dead, he says, you've been born with two different fates, with two envelopes. One side is everything you wanted, and the other side is everything you didn't want because you failed to take possession of your mind. He's like, if you only knew you could have anything you want if you can control your mind. And I said, well, how do I do that? There's only two ways to change a paradigm: constant spaced repetition on these calls, learning from me, Bob Proctor, and all the other people of personal growth and development. And then the other way is an emotional impact. Will you wait to almost lose your life to get this? Will you wait to go bust and be at negative to get this, where you're like, man, screw this, I'm jumping in? Why? Because you're being forced by the government, like I said. So I'm going to end this call. I want to thank you guys for your time. I'm going to bring on, I don't know if there's anyone else that wants to say anything. So I'll give an opportunity for anyone that wants to say anything, and then we'll end the call, and we'll be broadcasting tomorrow, which is Friday. And then we'll be broadcasting again on Monday. So I want to thank you guys for your time. And remember that the energy is here to serve you. You're in control of this. You're in control of the driver's seat, not them, you. You're the only problem that you will ever have, and you're the only solution. Name it and claim it. Make a big number look small, okay? Grab a pen, write down a big number, make it look small. So thank you guys for your time. I'm gonna end the call. And thanks, Ruda, for the introduction. Thanks to Bill for jumping on, Riyadh, everyone on here, Marbella, out here working out. And okay, we actually have someone from Marbella here. So want to congratulate Fran for jumping on the call. Actually, he just jumped on right now. Hi, Fran, how's it going? Look, you can find the video on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, Wealth Mindset Group. It should be posted within 30 minutes. We have another business presentation in less than 1 minute. And Fran, aquí estamos en España. Puedes ir al YouTube channel, Wealth Mindset Group, y puedes hallar el video de Zoom allí en el Wealth Mindset Group en el Zoom. So, gracias a todos por el tiempo. We'll see you guys tomorrow. God bless. Have a good one, guys. Enjoy your day.